Welcome to the I Love Coaching podcast, the show where we help coaches, entrepreneurs, and leaders build businesses that create massive impact. I'm Adam Roach, alongside my incredible co-host,
Jess Weber. And we're here today to bring you the best strategies, mindset shifts, and real-life success stories to help you level up in your coaching journey.
Whether you're launching your coaching business, scaling to 6 or 7 figures, or just looking for inspiration to push through, this podcast is your go-to resource.
We're bringing you expert insights, real talk, and actionable items every single episode. So if you're ready to take your coaching game to the next level,
then let's dive on in. Yes, we get to talk about transition today. Transition is, it's something that we watch coaches do and fumble their way through it. And here's what I mean by transition. You're already coaching one-on-one, and maybe you're considering doing a group, or maybe you're considering doing a one-to-many approach. And that transition from one-to-one to one-to-many is very important. And it has to be followed in a certain segue, in a certain segment. Would you agree?
I would agree completely. And what we've found over the years and working with hundreds of coaches is that pretty much everybody approaches this the wrong way.
Yep.
And so I think that this is a really important conversation to have because, you know, I just was invited to an event where I went to look at community and group coaching offers, right?
Yeah.
And we've been in several other rooms that are around that. And again, everybody builds it wrong and then they kind of fumble their way through it. So I would love to help people expedite the process and learn from many mistakes.
Well, the neat part about this is there is a process. Not only is there a process, there's a 7-step process. And we're only going to give you guys one step today. We don't want to overload you. What we want to do is go really deep in one simple little area each time. So Jess, let's do like a 7-part series. This will be kind of fun.
I think we should totally do that. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, this will kind of be like a Netflix binge watch where they can podcast binge I Love Coaching 7 steps to one-to-many approach.
There we go. Let's do it.
Okay. So let's go to the very, very, very first one. One-to-one coaching is, there's so many different components to it. And usually what we see is one-to-one coaching when people start is relational, right? They build that relational connection to someone, or they have it from a past life. And they say, I'm stepping into one-on-one coaching. Let's build a relationship together because I can help you do X, Y, and Z. What they don't build, and this is the first step, what they don't build in one-on-one that they have to build in one-to-many or one in a group setting to attract people is a true payoff. They have to build a true payoff, and as we call it, clarity. And that clarity is for the audience who is looking to buy from them, clarity on what the payoff really is for them to step into a one-to-many approach.
Okay, so let's go backwards because right now I feel like the word payoff is like internal I Love Coaching lingo. And I want to make sure the audience who's listening knows what we mean when we say payoff. So how would you describe that to a non-real coach?
Well, if you get pulled over and you want to pay off the cop to not get the ticket, that's kind of what I'm just totally kidding. I have no idea where that even came from. You know where that came from? I'll tell you where that came from. I'm walking to the gym this morning. I have to go to a different gym. It's like 5 a.m. and I'm watching a cop stake himself out on Coleman Boulevard at 5 a.m. And I'm thinking, these poor saps that are going to get pulled over at 5 a.m. going to work. Oh, I would be so mad if I got pulled over at 5 a.m. Anyway.
Yeah.
Payoff is the language, Jess, that explains what you can solve for someone, right? What it is that they're going to be getting in a problem solution cycle is the true definition of what payoff means.
I love that. Another short way to say that I like to think about is what is the transformation that comes on the other side of the investment, whether that's time, energy, or money.
Yes, that's good. That's perfect. And that is where we see coaches fumble because they don't have clarity there, right? They don't understand what their payoff is, or let's keep it true, is their payoffs sometimes are too aspirational, right? Their payoffs are be the best version of yourself, or become the 10x version of yourself, or
Build a legacy,
build a legacy, right? It's so
abundant
high.
mindset. I mean, the language is hilarious sometimes when we
Mhm.
have people start down this path.
Yeah. And we're not making fun of you, but what we're saying is we want you to check your language, right? We want you to
Yeah.
check this payoff language, or as just so eloquently put it, the transition or transformation language that your buyer is going to have. And Jess, what did we learn from Donald Miller this past week when we were in Atlanta? What was the language that he used? Do you remember?
Cognitive dissonance.
Oh, it's so good. Cognitive dissonance. Yeah, did I say that right? Cognitive
Dissonance. Yeah.
dissonance.
Well, and that the whole thing there is, I think of it this way. And like you said, we're not making fun of people. I'm
No.
laughing because I'm thinking if you were running into a pharmacy, right? Because you've got a headache, you are not running in looking for fancy words like abundant or legacy or clarity, right? You're looking for something that says headache relief.
Yes.
It is simple, clear, explicit language that tells you what your transformation or your payoff is.
Mhm.
And so, people who are dealing with a problem or have some level of pain, they are shopping for a solution and they need very clear, simple language
Yep.
that tells them that you have the solution to the problem that they're currently in.
That's
So
right.
if you're sitting there with big, aspirational, flowery, idealized language, you are not going to connect with the people who need you because they're not in a space to receive that language. When your head hurts, the only thing that you want is headache relief.
That's right. That's very, very true. Yeah, and we have this in our blueprint. We call it the phase 2 checklist. And it literally says at the top here, Jess, I want to read this off. My payoff is specific, realistic, and easy to explain in one sentence. That's
Mhm.
it. That is so simple and easy, though it gets missed or it is too high for a buyer to understand, like what you were saying, right? If I walk into a pharmacy and say, I have a headache, and the pharmacist starts saying all those big drug words that we hear on TV, or yeah, you're going to get lost, right?
Here's your
Or-
side effect list and all the thing. You're like, what? Well, a coach of mine, when I was going through speaker training, said, imagine standing up at a table at a dinner party. There's 20 people around the table, and you have to introduce yourself in one sentence
Yes.
that everybody can understand. So
Right.
the other 19 at the table are probably not in your industry.
Mhm.
They probably don't have the same curse of knowledge you do about that industry. They don't have the lexicon of like vocabulary that's prominent in that industry, right? And
Mhm.
so you have to think about so intentionally what is very clear, simple, explicit language. What is the headache relief that you could share with the other 19 people at this table?
That's right.
And if you have to pull out note cards to read it, it's too long. If you have to, reference your website or your bio, then it's too long. It has to be something that is so internalized that it becomes, for lack of a better way to put it, an elevator pitch. What can you tell somebody between the 9th and 10th floor about yourself before they step out of the elevator that lands?
Hmm. Well, about yourself and about what problem you're solving.
Right.
Right. That's the key one there is what problem are you solving that will either attract or detract the individual? Because if I didn't
Hmm.
have a headache and we were going from the 9th floor to the 10th floor and you said, I help people get rid of their headaches and I didn't have one, then I wouldn't be a client. But if I had one, I could become a client.
Well, that, or if it's so clear and simple, you might not have a headache, but the person in your room might have a headache and you want to make that introduction. So the simpler and clearer the language is in terms of the payoff, not about you, right? The payoff, because people don't care about you. They care about the transformation that you're delivering. When that language is so clear and simple, it also makes for referrals and introductions and opportunities. Oh my gosh, you speak on this. Oh my gosh, you have a training on this. Oh my gosh, would you like to be a podcast guest? All of this other stuff comes from the clarity of the language of the payoff, not promoting the person. So that is a key thing here that I hope lands with every person. Nobody cares about your credentials. Nobody cares about you. They care about what you can do for them, which is the
Mhm.
payoff.
Yep. Yep. So let's just break this down even smaller, right? Let's walk them through a tactical exercise here that we've walked many coaches through on how to create this payoff, right? How to simply put into sentence form the I solve for headaches payoff,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I
That's
mean, first and foremost, you have to know who you're helping. What is
mm-hmm,
your, for, to use coaching vernacular, what's your avatar?
mm-hmm,
Who's your ideal client, which is typically a past version of yourself.
that's right. Yep. And that's
But
the easy part though.
again, oh,
Yeah,
I was going to say,
let me say right there. The easy part there, y'all, that we miss. Easy part that we miss is we think we need to solve for something bigger than we are right now. And
mhm,
that's where people miss this is I want to be a billionaire. Great. So I'm going to teach people how to be billionaires. You can't because you've never done that before. You
yep,
need to go backwards. And let's say that you need to solve for making 6 figures or even $10,000 a month, right? Something super small, simple. I don't mean small as in a number small, but small as in granular to achieve. That's
mhm,
that you have done, not
mhm.
that you want to do, that this is something you've done.
It's attainable, not aspirational.
Mm-hmm.
That's very much the key there is you have already achieved the outcome that you are promising to deliver.
That's right.
And then you know what? That gives you all of the confidence in the world that you don't need to tout credentials. You don't need to be the doctor at the pharmacy talking about where they got their pharmacological degree at, right? It's,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you're a pharmacist and you're offering me headache relief.
That's right.
Amazing. That's
Yeah.
what I came here about. I don't care where you graduated from. I don't care when you graduated. I don't care what level you graduated,
Yeah.
really, right? You're gainfully employed, so therefore I trust you because you've already done the work and the thing that you can do is give me headache relief.
Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna get a little spicy here for a second because I
Oh
had
no.
someone not too not too long ago share with me that they wanted to go get another credential before they quote unquote launch their business. And think about that language. Let's just think about that language as what we just talked about there. A credential that you need to go get is tomorrow's world for you, right? A credential is again somebody else's experience being taught to you right now for tomorrow.
Mhm.
So this individual thought that they needed to go get a credential to be able to attract more people into the world when I don't know how old this individual was, but let's just say that this person was 50 years old. They've probably got about 30 years of experience behind themselves that those are enough credentials that you don't ever need to go get another credential, period.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, and we know that the credential seeking comes from imposter syndrome in its clearest and simplest form.
Mm-hmm.
But imposter syndrome stems from a lack of clarity in your payoff.
Yeah.
Like the hands down, every person who walks into our world, whether it's through our free, lead magnet, which is the get paid to coach PDF
Mm-hmm.
that you can go through at any time,
Go
or
get
if you
it.
join our challenge or our membership, I don't care what tier you've entered our world in. Uh payoff payoff language exists in all three, and imposter syndrome due to a lack of clarity around a payoff exists in all three. And
Yeah.
so this is why we're starting with this conversation because everything is built from the payoff. It's not everything is built from the person.
No, everything, you all. Okay, so let's look at this payoff here real quick. I am going to, as just said, the first thing you got to start with is the avatar, right? Who
Mhm.
are you going after? And very simply, we want you to go after the past version of yourself, right? Where before today and listening to this, can you solve someone's problem from yesterday based on your experience? Okay, so that's the avatar. The second step is what is that problem that you can solve from yesterday that you can help someone today solve? What is that? Right? What is that? Going back to Jess's simple little headache example, a human can be an avatar there because they have headaches. Solves for I can solve for a headache, right? Because
Mhm.
you've done that before and you went and got whatever pharmaceutical you like to take to get that headache to go away, right? Jess, so avatar and then problem solution.
Right. I help adults, right? Because maybe they
Mhm.
drove there. So
Yep.
it's simplified from humans down a little bit because you do want to be very specific and explicit in
Yes.
your avatar, right? Because you need to know who you can help. You
That's
can't
right.
help everybody. Being a generalist means that nobody sees you as a specialist and you
That's right.
rule out all your opportunities. So specifically, who do you help and what is their problem? So having headaches, and the solution is a simple treatment plan to reduce the headache symptoms or severity,
Mhm.
right? That's a lot of language even coming from me around headaches. So how do you turn that around and say it as a simple before and after statement, right?
Right.
What is the value that they gain or the pain that they lose, right? As the solution to this problem. So they lose the headache pain. They lose the if it's a migraine, they lose the aura or the sound or the smell or the light sensitivity.
Mhm.
They, maybe if you're going to be a jokester, it's, you've sent your husband away because he's the one giving you the headache. I
Mhm.
don't care what it is, but when you have the ability to say, hey, here's who I help, here's their problem, and here's my solution in one sentence,
That's it.
you are golden.
You're done. That's your payoff.
That's it.
That is your payoff. Clarity, simple, understood, and now you can share that with anybody. And when you share that, it'll either attract or detract. That's it. And those who you're supposed to attract because that problem solution works, great, you'll attract them. Those that it pushes away, it's okay. You're not solving their problem today.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else in payoff there, Jess?
I mean, if this is something that it sounds simple to you, it is simple, but yet
Mhm.
nobody leads with it. We
Mm-mm.
we see it all the time that people are leading with their credentials or they're leading with the process, right? The parts of the thing they offer. Well, it's 2 pills, right? From the Excedrin box. It's 1 pill from the extra strength Tylenol box. Like they're literally giving the specifics
Mhm.
and nobody's looking for that. They just want to know the end result.
That's right.
They don't care about the path the way that you care about the path.
Mhm.
And so, if you're sitting here and you're working on payoff language and you start finding that you're adding commas in to add more detail, please, for the love of Pete, take them out because it needs to be not about you,
Yep.
not about the parts, the pieces, the path, right? It needs to be 100% about what is the solution to
Mhm.
the pain that you have identified for the ideal person that you were, that you know that you can help.
That's right. Yep. And very simply, just I think we can probably even bring back a little more Donald Miller here because
Yes.
he says that this is a space where people they'll fumble because they attempt to be the hero, right?
Hmm.
They attempt to be the hero. And one thing that we have to pay attention to, and I don't want to get um, over explaining here, though, when you can empathize with this person, right? With this area of their problem. You can empathize with them and then you have the competency to solve their problem. You are no longer the hero, you become the guide and the guide is the one that helps that person become the hero, right? And that's what you want to become.
Well, and when you approach something from a guide mentality, imposter syndrome is gone.
It's gone. Yeah,
It
exactly.
literally crushes imposter syndrome in a matter of seconds
Mhm.
because a guide is somebody who's already walked the path. They've already
Yeah.
got the solution. You are not sitting here trying to promote yourself, right?
Nope.
Or prove anything to anybody as the hero would, right? Hey, look at my shiny cape. Look at my fancy boots. Check out these tights. You don't need any of that. When
Mhm.
you're focused on, hey, let me show you the path, let me show you the quickest solution, that alleviates so much internal pressure that we see people put on themselves.
Yeah.
And so I love StoryBrand. I love Donald Miller's language here in addition to everything we've discussed because it literally removes the ego from the situation and
Yeah.
allows you to step into a space of confidence instead.
Mhm. Yeah. So again, when you can empathize, when you write this out, when you take that simple structure, sentence structure, and you can look at your sentence and say, okay, I can empathize with that said human, said person, and I have the competency to help them in that space. Competency simply meaning I know I can do it. That's it. I know I can do it and I know I've done it. Let me rephrase that. I know I have done it is better than I know I can do it, because I can do it can become a little aspirational. I know I have done it helps you in this space of understanding your payoff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool.
100%.
Okay. So, Jess, we need to have them go do something. What do we want them to have? What do we want them to have and for them to go do?
Well, I think the first step is what we already mentioned. Go head over to our website, ilovecoachingco.com, and grab that free PDF on getting paid to coach. It
That's
can
right.
actually help you work through this process of defining your payoff. And I know we were stepping into this space talking about moving from one to one to a one to many approach and
Mhm.
solo coaching versus group coaching. That PDF works for all of those. So
Yep.
no matter where you are in your coaching journey, there is an opportunity to define a clear payoff for the next iteration of what you're building or stepping into. And
That's
so
right.
I'll challenge you to go through that with that kind of fresh eyes, new mindset of, I don't know it all, and I have an opportunity to create something really clear and concise that will help move my business forward.
Yep. Love it. Okay. Go get that. Get paid to coach. And we will see you on the next one. See you guys. See you. Bye.
Bye.